be streaming inside because it just makes more sense. Because I don't feel like going back down here. Also, I started watching The Shy again, episode 1 of season 7. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, that's interesting. I don't want to waste any seconds or any minutes and rip my way out of this assignment into the next by closing the computer when I'm done with sufficient and necessary reasoning so I could get ahead to The Shy. I still do have to do that video interview. We'll see if I do that tonight, this evening, or I'll do that for tomorrow morning. I had a deep piece of food stuck in my teeth and it's like irritating. I hate that. Things getting stuck in your gums is not teeth. I wish I had something to get whatever is stuck in my tooth out. What if this whole time there's nothing in there? I literally think it's in my gums. Mouth full of teeth. All I can do is pray. I ain't gonna lie, I was reviewing argument structure. It's a 2-hour video.
So welcome to the lesson on sufficient and necessary conditions. And sufficient and necessary is by far the most commonly tested form of reasoning that appears on the LSAT.
I know they're like she's texting, but I'm texting LSAT Max. I just want that thing to come out of my tooth. Whatever it is. Anyways. Yes, I'm gonna lay back and watch this video. Yes, I am. If I get tired, I'll shut it off. But I just have to, I say structure up when I'm relaxing. I'll watch it this way. See, I know I'm not doing anything else but this. Also, you won't be able to tell when I go to bed. Just kidding.
LSAT exam, and these sufficient necessary conditions are going to appear both on the logic.
Definition of sufficient. A condition X is said to be sufficient for another condition Y, and if only the truth, existence, occurrence of X guarantees or brings out the truth, existence, occurrence of Y. For example, excuse this knot. For example, Mahogany is laying on the couch. It's sufficient that the couch, wow, how about Mahogany enjoys laying on the couch because she's elevated from the floor. It's sufficient to say that there's legs on the couch, because couches have legs, but let's see. So just making an inference. And it's necessary for there to be gold, or not gold, but that's extra information. That's there for there to be gold tongs, or like legs on the bottom of the chair that supports me sitting up, which is, I guess, necessary for me to be up the legs of the chair. Who knows? Let's watch. Who knows? Marin.
The reasoning section, as well as the logic game section. So 3/4 of the exam is going to be littered with these sufficient and necessary conditions. It is truly the foundation of the entire exam. So please, please, please make sure that you clearly understand these concepts before proceeding.
How about I write the definition of sufficient? That's the first thing I can do for myself. It doesn't help them win. At least I'm doing it. I gotta start somewhere. What is correct? Y'all think I could get a better angle? I think so too. That's crazy. Much better. This is the best time for me to have been on the table, considering how important this section is. Teeth is like so crazy. Just want to pull it out. Put the tooth back in after I take whatever's stuck and lodged in there. I'll never be able to tell if something's lodged in there or not. I need one of those long like, wire floss. I can't do the plastic floss. I need the one that's like the full type of floss, you know. Leather flosses is cute, but they don't do the work that the long thread flosses do.
Any of the other lessons. Now,
This is the most craziest position to lay on. I don't know if this is like anxiety. Stop. Okay. Let's just hit the. Much more space. I'm not cramped in the corner. My goodness. This is me for 8 hours. What am I gonna do when I get to 15 hours? Oh, to be a girl with such unrealistic, ambitious standards. I mean, hey, if I can go to law school and laying down taking notes on my comfortable couch, you can do it too. I'm gonna save space in my notebook by erasing this and putting the definition here instead. See if I can be taking notes for some time.
not much you're required to memorize for the LSAT, but these sufficient and necessary rules that we are going to discuss now must be memorized. And for those of you who have taken formal logic, well, you're going to have seen some of this information before. Those of you who haven't, not to worry. I myself had never taken formal logic prior to seeing the LSAT. And again, it's very basic stuff, simple formal logic. You just need to memorize these rules, understand how to apply them, and you will be fine. But again, it is imperative that you master these concepts that we're going to discuss now. So the idea of sufficient and necessary is actually quite simple.
Literally.
The idea here is that the existence of the sufficient condition allows us to conclude that the necessary condition also exists. And again, properly conclude means that it must be true, also follows logically. Basically, that 100% we can say that the necessary condition exists based on the fact that we have the sufficient condition. So now let's look at the formal definition here. Definition of sufficient: a condition X is said to be sufficient for another condition Y if and only if the truth existence occurrence of X guarantees or brings about the truth existence occurrence of Y. And again, the idea here is that if X and Y are our sufficient necessary conditions, X being sufficient, Y being necessary, this is a general principle. We have no idea if this applies. For this to apply, we must know that X exists. And once we know that X exists, then we can say with 100% certainty that Y exists. So that is the definition of a sufficient condition, the formal definition. But let's emphasize this with a very simple example that will take it out of these abstract terms and relate it to something that makes more sense to us.
Please.
So now, imagine that I told you I am President of the United States.
Mm-hmm. I'd
Right,
much
so
prefer, much rather.
President of the United States of America. I am Barack Obama. What does that information allow us to conclude with 100% certainty? Right, and the idea here is that there are a number of requirements for being President of the United States.
Because you're not.
The first that I'm sure everyone here is aware of, simply because of the fact that it's been in the news nonstop, that to be president,
you know what?
You must be a natural-born citizen of the USA. So the idea here is that being president of the United States is sufficient to establish that someone is a natural-born citizen of the U.S. All right, so that's the idea of sufficient and necessary. The sufficient condition allows you to conclude something else. Here, the sufficient condition being president allows us to conclude that that person is also a natural-born citizen of the United States of America. So now, let's take a look at another example.
I'm 5 minutes in. I have to take a nap. I have to, guys. That ice cream was too good. Yeah, good night.